Let's just do a quick recheck to see who has joined us. Chris, are you on? Bridget?
Yep.
David?
Chris McCoy.
Chris, thank you. Dylan?
Here.
McKay?
Here.
Jamie?
Yep, I'm here.
Bonnie?
I'm here.
And Margaret?
I'm here.
And so the only one we lost was David. David, are you back? Okay. And what about Bob Syrup? Are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Bob, if you would, has not been the easiest. So if you would, just pretend like I'm just introducing you for the first time, and let's just start over.
Okay, sure. What the PAL wants to do a new event similar to what we used to do with punt, pass, and kick, if people are familiar with that football competition. This is sponsored by Major League Baseball, and it's called Pitch, Hit, and Run. It's open to boys and girls, 7 to 14 years old, and they will compete in skills for hitting, throwing, and running for speed. And they compete individually, so they won't be close to each other. And then their scores are just submitted to Major League Baseball and compared to others from other local competitions. And the best of the local competitions go on to what they call a team competition, where if a kid from Fairfield did well enough, they would qualify to go down to either Yankee Stadium or Citi Field and compete there for the team competition. So it would probably take about 2 hours, depending on how many kids we have sign up. But we'd like to do it at Tunxus Hill Park in the afternoon of Saturday, June 12th.
All right. Thank you. Bob, is this Pitch, Hit, and Run? Has it been a competition that's been going on for a while in other places?
Yes, it's been done several years by Major League Baseball, but this is the first time we would have done it locally.
And any projection, any hopes for the number of kids that you're expecting?
No, it's really a crapshoot. They give us some banners and some posters we can put up. We can put it on social media, and then participants have to sign up electronically on the Major League Baseball site, and then they'll tell us a week or so before the event how many kids to expect.
Okay.
But since it's the first time we've done it, we really don't know. When we used to do punt, pass, and kick, it was not done through the NFL and not digitally like this. We used to get probably about 40 to 70 kids, depending on the weather and depending on the year. So I would guess it would be about the same. We're going to advertise this through Babe Ruth Baseball and Little League Baseball, and probably have the coaches encourage their kids to play in it or not. I don't know what kind of reaction we'll get.
All right, great. And are you asking for a rain date?
That's a good idea. I did not, but yeah, if we can do that, if I can add on a rain date, maybe the next day, this Sunday.
Okay. And our question for the director.
Probably have to check with Kelly on availability of the field too. I did not do that for a rain date.
Exactly what I was just going to ask for the Saturday the 12th and or the 13th rain dates. Kelly or Anthony?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Saturday the 12th is available.
Saturday's
I know
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, while she looks that up, any other questions from the commission for Mr. Syrup?
Mr. Syrup, did I get promoted?
How about that, huh?
Okay, Townsend Hill is available on the 13th after 2 o'clock as well.
Okay, I have a
Okay, the rain
question.
date. Okay, was that Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob, what age group did you say was this was for?
7 to 14.
7 to 14. Okay.
Boys and girls.
Okay. And using hard baseballs? Are you using, for the younger kids, are you using potentially like the softer ones?
It's up to the kids to decide which competition they want to go in. We're going to run the baseball and softball. For baseball, it's just a legitimate regulation-sized baseball for all ages.
Mm-hmm.
And for softball, it's an 11-inch diameter ball for the younger kids and 12-inch for the bigger kids.
All right, I may be mistaken.
It's what they're used to playing with in Little League.
I thought for 7-year-olds and below in Little League, they use the soft sort of, it's a baseball, but the soft, squishy ball. But
you
maybe
may be
just
right.
check
I really don't know.
Yeah, there's an age. I think it's. I don't remember completely, but I know for the younger kids we used a sort of a soft, squishy ball that was the size of a baseball, but it was safer for them. Just maybe check with the Little League.
Yeah, Jamie, this is Chris. That usually ends either 9U or 10U. I want to say 10U. You actually go to a real baseball.
No,
Yeah.
it's earlier than that.
And when you say
my
10
son
years,
is 9.
No, you're talking 9-year-olds though. Typically, you got to just draw down one on that. So yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, no, we've been using it. My son's been using a hard ball for 2 years at least since he was 7.
Yeah, I think 7
You must
may
have
be
gone
the
to
one.
nationally.
AAA is 9-year-olds, and that's a hard baseball, and then AA I think is hard. But I think the 7-year-olds may be it. I only asked just to, from a safety standpoint, if that's what they're used to using, maybe have some of those on hand.
That's understood completely. Major League Baseball recommends or suggests that we use a regulation baseball. I think the safety part might not be that important because they're not catching. The ball will not come towards them.
Okay.
The only time they use this ball is for throwing a pitch at a target. You know, they give us a banner type of a vinyl strike zone that we'll put on a fence. No one even catches the ball. And for hitting, they're hitting off of a tee, and no kids are out in the field. Just those of us who will be measuring would be out there.
Sure.
So I really don't think they'd be in peril from having a harder ball. And if you use a softer ball, it might jeopardize the scoring.
Yeah.
You know, because they're measured for distance.
Sure. No, I understand. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, not a question, just a comment. Bob, you might want to check in with. This is Dylan. I'm also on the Fairfield Little League Girls Softball Board, and we do a pitch, hit, and run over there. So from a logistical standpoint, you might just want to check with somebody on that board who runs that, you know, just to...
Thank you. That's definitely on our list of things to do. We didn't know anyone was doing another local. Major League Baseball didn't tell us anyone else in this area was doing it.
Yeah, so if...
I will check that. Maybe we won't even do the softball then. If you guys are doing the girls, we'll do the boys baseball. I'll coordinate with somebody in the girls softball. Do you have anybody's name, Dylan, who I should contact?
Yeah, Andrew Gadak is the president over there.
Okay.
If you want to connect with me offline, I can connect you too.
Okay, great, thanks.
I think my email should be on the website, and you know, I'm happy to connect you with you anyway. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve this? And I would suggest, if you're making the motion, that you include the 13th after 2 p.m. as a rain date.
I'll make a
Bridget,
motion to approve the. I'll make the motion to approve a pitch hit and run for boys and girls aged 7 to 14 on June 12th at Tungus Hill Park in the afternoon with a rain date the following day, June 13th.
And this is Dylan?
That's Dylan, yes.
It was Dylan, okay.
This is Bridget.
I'll second that.
Okay, I heard both Bridget and David. I heard Bridget first, so we'll say that Bridget seconded it. Any further questions or comments? Then I'm just going to go down the list. Chris?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
McKay?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And Margaret?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Okay? Mr. Syrup, congratulations. And then we'll
Thank you.
move on to your next request, which is the Police Athletic League sponsoring the annual Trout Fishing Derby on Saturday, May 1st.
Right. This is an event that's gone on for 65 years, I think, at Gould Manor Park. We had to cancel it last year due to the COVID and the contaminated soil conditions at Gould Manor. And we hope to resurrect it this year, but because of the conditions of the soil, no matter how far we socially distance the kids, we cannot use Gould Manor. So we'd like to try to use Lake Mohegan. And we understand that the Parks and Recreation rule that there's no fishing from the shore, so we would not use the beach area. We would probably use the if you're on the beach facing the lake, we'd use the left-hand side of the lake along Morehouse Highway. Other than that, it would be the same as we've been doing for years. You know, kids fish for a couple hours. We stock the lake either the night before or the morning of with 300 trout, and hopefully some of them live through the night and the kids can catch them, and we give out prizes and go on home. Biggest thing here is the change of venue.
Okay. And Bob, I assume you don't need a rain date for a fishing derby?
No, this is it.
Okay. And is it? You said a couple hours. It's not an all-day thing.
No, fishing would be from 9 to 11 in the morning.
9 to 11. Okay.
So we would get there earlier to set up, and then we're probably an hour or so giving out the prizes afterwards, and we're out of there by noon.
Right. Any questions?
Oh, this is Margaret.
Sorry,
I had a question.
Go ahead, Margaret.
Margaret,
I'm just curious about. I love the idea of a fishing derby, but is there any possible environmental impact to Lake Mohegan of stocking the lake?
Well, no. Actually, it's already been stocked this year by the DEEP.
Okay.
So there are fish in there now, and people fish up there all the time.
Okay.
We have all the permits, or we get all the permits from DEEP, have for years.
Okay.
So we don't do anything that could harm the water and the environment there.
Perfect. That's all I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else had a question?
Are there any state guidelines to pay attention to with respect to gathering? I'm just not familiar with them.
Excuse me. Yeah. Hey guys, if you would, could you identify yourself? I'm having a hard time, just identifying everyone's voice, and I'm sure Kelly, who's taking notes, is going to have similar questions. So if you would.
Yep. Sorry. My apologies. This is Dylan. Yep. Bob, are there any guideline considerations that we need to address in terms of the number of people that can gather?
Not that I know of. I know that we do get permits from the DEEP, and they usually send an officer down there to the site to observe and make sure everything's compliant. I don't know of any limitations on the size of gatherings. We intend to tell the kids and parents to socially distance, not stand right next to each other.
Right.
Dylan,
as far as numbers of participants, there's no cap that I know of.
This is Bridget. I'm familiar with the reopening. You should be fine by that date, as long as everyone is social distance 6 feet.
We are going to instruct them when they register. We're going to instruct them about social distancing, remind them, and there are going to be a lot of police officers there wandering around and enforcing, just reminding people, hey, you're too close or whatever that might be.
Any other questions?
This is Bridget. Sorry, I'm just on the portal right now. If you want an exact number, as of March 19th, it'll be a cap of 500 people, which I'm assuming you should be okay.
We have never approached 500. I think the most we ever had at Gould Manor was 125.
Yes, it's good.
Thank you, Bridget. Any other questions? Or would anyone like to make a motion?
This is Margaret. I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I make a motion to, I'm sorry, don't know how to exactly word it, to allow PAL to have this event at Lake Mohegan on Saturday, May 1st.
Okay, I'm sorry, who's this?
It's Margaret.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. As soon as you said you'd make a motion, then, that was acceptable.
Perfect.
Because it's already to hear and act upon. So as long we have to get the wording a little bit differently in the first item to add the rain date. But the motion is for the fishing derby on the 21st, on May 1st.
I'll second.
That was David, or who's that?
That's Dave.
David, okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Chris?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
McKay?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. So, Bob, congratulations, and nice talking with you again.
Good. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was good to hear from you, Brian. Thanks.
Take care,
everyone.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
All
Good luck.
right, the next item on the agenda, Alita Ward, has been removed. They are not going to move forward with this. So we're going to jump to item D, and it's not Jason Egan, it's Justin Egan, I believe.
Correct.
And it's a South Benson Marina appeal.
Hi, guys. This is Justin. Do I have the floor to talk?
Yes. Please present your case.
Sure. I appreciate your time. So I've been a member of the South Benson Marina, a slip renter for the past 5 years. On the waiting list prior to that for about 7. Family uses it every weekend. It's a big part of our life. This year, I got a new phone, and my old Hotmail, which the Parks and Rec sent the emails to, didn't transfer over to the new phone. So I was about 4 business days late renewing my slip this year. And then Justin Cathcart told me that if you're 4 days late, you have to go through the appeal process. Every year I'm normally the first day down there, all excited. this year being COVID, just a little bit disorganized. So all my paperwork was in 4 days late, and everything's in now, and just looking for permission to renew my boat slip, which I've had for the past 5 years.
Okay, so I'm looking at the correspondence on the 25th from Justin Cathcart. So that was to the old email address.
So they send out reminders, and I didn't get the reminder because it was an old Hotmail account that didn't come through to my new phone. And so they were due on Thursday. And so the following Wednesday, I realized I missed it, and I reached out to Justin through phone call, email, every which way possible, and then just showed up the next morning with all the paperwork. So 4 business days to let Justin know I wanted my slip, and then was there with all the paperwork the following day.
I guess my question is that Justin sent out a total of 5 email correspondences, and there was a telephone call made to slip holders as well. And the first email that you responded to was the one that Justin sent to you saying that you lost your slip.
Correct. I did not get the phone call. I actually went down and spoke to Justin about that. I did not get the phone call. And literally, with this being a crazy year, I run a business with 25 employees working from home. The Hotmail just didn't come through. And, for probably 4 weeks, I didn't realize that it didn't come through. And definitely short-sighted on my part, but, looking for some forgiveness. Good member of the marina, help everyone tie their boats up. It's a big part of my family. I have kids. Just looking for some forgiveness on that, 4 to 5 business days lapse in which I didn't renew it. And 7 years on the waiting list, so it's a pretty big deal to my family.
Yes, and that's that's the point I'm trying to emphasize. It is a big deal. We all know that. Yep. We have these conversations with slip holders every year, and the issue is year in and year out, we don't change the date when, or if we change it, it's by a day or two, the date that the slip renewal is due. And you waited 7 years, you've been in the marina for 5 years, and I understand it's been a crazy year and your emails were not being received, but you know that the renewal is due.
Understood 100%. And I'm normally down there on the first day renewing it. I keep my boat there for parking in the winter. Normally on the top of my list. Again, this year, because I switched phones and I didn't get the emails, and because it's such a crazy year trying to run a business from my house, not from an office, again, I'm not saying anything other than it was a mistake on my end for 4 to 5 days, in which as soon as I realized it, I ran down there the next morning with all the paperwork to renew the slip.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making any other excuse other than just it's a crazy year, and it's a very important thing to me and my family. I take it so seriously. I'm down there all the time, and I'm just looking to learn a lesson. I don't want to go through this again, but just looking for a little bit of forgiveness and let you know that I'll be the first one there for the next 7 years.
Okay, and Justin Cathcart has provided information that yes, you were down there at 8:45 the next morning, so we certainly appreciate that. And Justin Cathcart, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And so this is the first time that Mr. Egan has missed the deadline?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the commission for Mr. Egan?
So if I'm sorry, this is Dylan. So Justin Cathcart, if we were to approve this appeal, that just means that somebody who is on the wait list would have to remain on the wait list. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I would assume Mr. Egan would, in the past when we've approved appeals like this, there would be a $250 late fee that would be charged.
Yeah.
This is Chris McCoy.
Completely acceptable on my end.
Mr. Egan?
Mr. Chair, this is Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Mr. Egan, did you switch phone numbers?
No, but I did not get the call for some reason. Justin and I went through it. I checked all my voicemails. It didn't come through to my phone number. But no, it's the same phone number.
Okay, and then follow up to that, you mentioned that it's an old Hotmail account. When you say old Hotmail, does that mean you deleted your Hotmail account? Is that why you weren't receiving the emails?
So when you get a new iPhone, right, all of your emails start to sync up. So I did my work email, a Gmail, a Yahoo, and the last one just didn't sync up. And that's the one where the Parks and Rec emails go to.
So is this? I just did this a month ago, so I understand where you're coming from. So is this like a tertiary email to you? It's not a prime email?
Yeah, no, it's not a work email or anything like that. I mean, it's been 12 years, right? So it's like an old Hotmail address, but I just never changed it because that's what I gave the Parks and Rec 12 years ago.
Something as important as the marina, you're using your third or fourth email for compliance?
Well, normally I never miss them. This was just an oversight this year. Like I said, normally I'm the first one there to renew. This year, again, it's just been one of those years where things got a little, disorganized for me on my end, and I'm trying to just make it right.
And Justin, can you confirm that a text message was sent out or a phone call and it wasn't received?
Chris, so we're using a new system. It's called Eversource. I was working with the emergency management team to send out this text. All I can see is that it went out to that number and he did not answer it. I can't tell if he received the text or not. It doesn't show that he responded to it.
Have any other slip holders reached out to you and had similar issues where they did or did not receive these type of messages? If it's new technology and other members have had similar issues, then I can kind of empathize with Mr. Egan's plight here.
So I'm looking at the report that I have. I had about 20% acknowledged it right when they received it. 5% acknowledged it late. 75% didn't acknowledge it. But from my own experience, I had both my personal cell phone and my work cell phone on. I received a text on one of the phones, and then it went to voicemail on the other two phones, and I purposely did not answer the call to see how it would show up on the computer system.
All right, so this is my issue then going forward from a technology state. Is there a way that we can work going forward to make this better where there's a read receipt? So we're not put in a position on this. I mean, if there's a read receipt going forward, it's the dog ate my homework.
Right.
If we're talking a majority of people, just nobody responded, then I don't know who's at fault here.
Well, I know, for talking with the IT department, the read receipts, they're actually asking us not to use the read receipts through when we send out emails because 99% of the people don't acknowledge a read receipt, especially if it's going to a Gmail or email. And then this system that is the system that we're using is the one that the emergency management team, the fire department, the police department use when they send out the messages, whether there's an issue going on in town, things like that. So they were gracious enough to let us use that system just to send it out to the slip holders.
Justin, this is Justin Egan. Another question. If those texts that I did not get, they don't go out the week of the renewal, right? They go out like 2 months in advance. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, this was sent out on January 25th as a reminder to all the slip holders.
Okay.
So there was.
This is Jamie. I had a question.
Jamie.
I just wanted to, again, part of what we're trying to understand is really what happened here, not only to evaluate your situation, but to evaluate the process. So, looking at the example of there's an email sent on December 16th. That was sent to your Gmail account. Justin Egan 55-7 at gmail.com, not your Hotmail account.
I'm just saying Hotmail is the Gmail account. I misspoke on that. The Gmail account was what didn't sync. That's the Parks and Rec thing that they have for me. But getting a reminder on December, right? And then I missed it on February 17th. So I couldn't go down there on December and actually renew it. There's a window of renewal. And so I appreciate that it did go. Again, I missed it. But it wasn't something I could have acted upon at that moment, at that time anyway.
Justin Cathcart.
But I'm sorry, last thing. Normally, the emails are good. I receive them. I'm down there with all the paperwork. So I'm not trying to say that, anything other than I missed it, right? I missed it, and I tried to make the best I possibly could as soon as I realized it and ran down there, called Justin Cathcart, emailed Justin Cathcart, and tried to make it right.
Justin, this is Brian again. For the purposes of Justin Cathcart's office moving forward, if you are successful here tonight, the Justin Egan 5517 at Gmail is or is not a working email, because that is the one that remains on the application.
This is Justin Egan. It is now active and checked after it was not after I let it go dormant. It is now active and checked on a regular basis.
Okay, so that should remain on the application as is.
Correct, and will be checked.
So, Justin Egan, this is Dylan. Justin Egan, when you say it was dormant, so you got your new phone, and you just didn't set up the Gmail on your phone. So the email was always active. You just didn't set it up on your phone, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
This is Justin. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So maybe if I can, this is Dylan again. Sorry, just to clarify, I actually just got a new phone last week as well. So if you don't go into your phone and redo the password on your account, it could look on your phone like you're not getting new emails, which is what happened to me with my account. So just for clarity purpose, it sounds like that was the issue that you ran into, Justin Egan, correct?
This is Justin. That's correct.
This is Bridget. Can I make a comment?
Bridget, yes.
I just want to say I empathize with Justin Egan because, listen, he spent 7 years on the wait list. I mean, I get my student loan emails to an email that I don't even know the last time I checked it. So I feel like this was a true oversight. He's telling the truth. And when I look back at the timeline of how things kind of went down and how many people did not get their renewals in on time, it was Justin, Mr. O'Reilly, and then 2 others that aren't even coming back. So I don't know. If it were me, I would approve the renewal.
Well,
Mr.
if
Chair,
there's no other questions and you would like to make a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chair, This is Chris.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Chris, okay.
All right. So one last question, Mr. Egan. What was the impetus from February 17th to 4 days later? Like that little time frame? How did you find out?
How did I find out? The email I finally hooked up. Like I finally realized that I wasn't getting the emails because I went to the town website and I was like, oh, when are slip renewals? They should be soon, but I haven't gotten any emails on them yet. Just the way, sometimes your mind works. And then I went to the Parks and Rec website and I was like, oh my goodness, I missed it. And then I looked at my phone. I go to my wife, I didn't get any emails. Then I realized that I didn't get any emails. And then I went and got that Gmail account active. So it's just something that clicked.
Hold on. And all this time you'd not logged in from like a laptop or a Chromebook or a desktop to your.
And it's just an email address. No, I did not.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve this appeal? And if not, then if you're not interested in approving this, there's nothing needed to be said.
This is Bridget.
Brian, I would like to make a motion.
Okay, Bridget is making a motion. Who was that? Just
Dylan will second.
Okay. So we have Bridget and Dylan's making a second. Okay. Any further comments or questions? Well, Mr. Egan, I'll make a comment. This is Brian Nero. I will be supporting this. I don't, people who know me, I've been on the Parks and Rec Commission and on the subcommittee for the voting for a long time, and we have worked extremely hard over the last few years to try to make this as foolproof as possible with the effort that Justin Cathcart has gone to make sure that everyone gets 6 notices. I do appreciate the fact that as soon as you found out, you came down the next morning. So as I said, I will be supporting this, but I will not ever support it again if you come before us next year or the year after.
It won't happen. I appreciate it.
All right. Any other comments or questions before we go to a vote? Chris?
Yay.
Bridget?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
McKay?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
And I, too, am a yes. So, Mr. Egan, congratulations. You will be keeping your slip. As Justin Cathcart said before, there will be a $250 late fee that you'll be responsible for, but you will not lose the slip and you will not go back on the waiting list. So, congratulations.
I appreciate your time tonight, guys. Thank you.
All right. Okay, next up, the Skate Park Subcommittee to hear and act upon revised rules and regulations.
Yes, Brian, this is Dylan. So as everyone knows from an earlier meeting, we had a request to look at scooters in the skate park. We formed a subcommittee consisting of myself, Bridget, and David. And we had a conversation, we made some visits, and ultimately we determined that we would be in support of allowing scooters at the skate park as well as an open concept where we don't have an attendant and that was contingent upon risk management saying that it was okay. So Pat Egan in risk management had recently gotten back to Kelly and said,
bring trash cans up,
and said that it needed to be voted on by the full commission once the subcommittee had voted to approve adding scooters and opening it up. The risk management said that we could not include bicycles, which was never part of the discussion anyway. So the subcommittee has already approved we've already said that we support allowing scooters in the skate park as well as having an open concept there. So we just need to vote on it as a full commission in order for that change to be reflected in the signage that we'll need to have put on for the April 1 opening.
Thank you. Dylan, hold on one second.
Yep.
Whoever has all that background noise, could you please mute your phone? Okay. Dylan, I have a question. In reviewing the rules and regulations that you presented,
right?
It is, unless I've missed something, it is all very specific to skateboarding. Is it your intention to rewrite the rules again if we approve scooters tonight?
Well, I think you're referring to the Jennings Beach Skate Park rules that were sent around.
Yes.
Yes. So if we tonight as a commission agree to allow scooters and an open concept, that verbiage is going to change in that skate park document that was sent around. So yes, we are looking to change the rules, and the signage will be updated to reflect that.
This is McKay.
When the rules and regs are for the skate park are amended, could you run that around the whole committee? And then when we take a look, and I don't know if we need to vote on it, and then we'll send it to risk management for their approval.
Yes, we can once the new signage is done based on the vote tonight, we will send that around to the committee. My understanding, though, is that risk management has already approved it, so I don't know that there would be a reason for them to have to approve it again.
This is Bridget. Okay. That's my understanding, too.
Okay.
This is McKay. I have a question, because this started before I joined this board, and so I know some of these questions have probably been answered. But if I remember, one of the hang-ups on this was that the park wasn't I guess the manufacturer or something along those lines. There was a suggestion that it was really built solely for skateboards. Could I just kind of get a refresh on what that was? And it sounds like everybody's comfortable, regardless of however it was originally built, moving to scooters. But can I just sort of get a refresher and confirmation on that?
Anthony, do you want to take that one?
Sure.
If you're not on the line, okay.
Nope, I'm here. This is Anthony, and yes, McKay, you are absolutely correct. The company that built the skate park designed it for skateboards only. At the time, almost 2009, I believe we opened that park up. Scooter riding wasn't nearly as popular as it is now. So yes, we weren't going to allow scooters in or bikes. I can tell you over the past 12 years, 13 years, however long this park has been open, nobody follows any of the rules anyway. So scooters have been in there, bikes have been in there, you name it, it's been in there. And the damage that they thought the scooters were going to do really hasn't materialized. We've done minimal maintenance or had to do minimal maintenance to the park. so with most of the scooter riders that are down there, and honestly, it is all ages. It's not. People will tell you it's primarily younger kids. It's not really the truth. There are plenty of teenagers that are down there riding scooters as well. But we're not seeing that damage. So as long as they're being safe and following the rules that are in place, the helmets and proper flow and whatnot, it seems to be okay. And risk management is on board with it.
Great summary. Thanks.
This is Margaret. I just had a question for clarification.
Yes, Margaret.
So when we're talking about scooters, are we talking about non-electric or both electric and non-electric scooters?
These will be non-motorized scooters. It'll state that in the rules.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Here's my concern right now. The agenda does not stipulate that we are going to hear and act upon adding scooters to the skate park. We could modify the agenda, but I don't know, Anthony. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe you can opine on my thoughts, because my only concern is, number one, we don't specify. We say we're here and act upon the revised rules and regulations. The revised rules could capture that change, but I think normally we would be more specific if we're going to do something like add scooters. And it's possible, unlikely, but it's possible that if the agenda stated that we were going to add scooters to the skate park, that members of the public could be attending to voice opposition to that.
Well, so point of order. This is McKay. I think what I've heard is there needs to be an approval from this board on the use of scooters in the park, which then would lead to a change in regulation, which would be a separate, I assume, vote that risk management would approve. So I think there's two steps here. I think the amendment to the agenda is the easy part, right? Like that just takes 2/3 support.
I agree with that. That's the easy part. But at times.
So a point of order. So what you're saying is you're wanting an opportunity for public input, and I think what I'm saying is the public input can come at the time of the regulation.
This is Bridget. To go off of that, we already had a meeting where it was on the agenda, and we did have several members of the public speaking out. Granted, they were all for the change in the rules, but it was posted, and people in opposition could have voiced their opinion at that point. And they knew that we were forming a subcommittee.
When does the skate park open? I forget.
April 1st.
April 1st.
Oh, okay.
So even if we modify the agenda and vote on the scooters tonight, we won't have the modified rules and regulations incorporating the scooters by opening date.
Well, no. If we approve tonight the allowing scooters into the skate park and going with an open concept, then the rules and regulations would be changed relatively quickly. I'm assuming that's more a question, I think, for Kelly or Anthony. And that at that point, it's just a matter of signage change, because the rules and regulations that we're looking to change tonight have already been blessed by risk management. So if we as the commission, agree with those changes, it's just a matter of signage change at that point. Just basically revising the language on the sign, taking the old ones down and putting the new ones up. So I think that with approval tonight, we can be ready with new signage for April 1. Anthony, does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I believe that was the intent of the subcommittee.
Okay, then the rules and regulations, would we simply be altering them to read something to the effect of skateboarding and or scootering are considered high-risk activities?
Correct.
And just modify it by including that wordage?
Yep, and then the second line would say designed for skateboarding, and it would give that 34-inch maximum length, and scooters, non-motorized scooters, period. All
right.
Other uses are prohibited. Yes.
Yes, you would have to modify that in each of the bullets where it makes reference to only skating.
That's
bullet
correct.
6 or 7, no skating or scootering when wet. Okay. Well, I would be okay with regards to getting both approved tonight for the April 1st open. If when we're making a motion that someone can also say, and the rules and regulations will include specific language for scootering. Is that the appropriate word, scootering?
I just looked it up, yes. It's not scooting, it's
okay.
scootering.
Okay.
But let me just be totally sure. Hang on.
I do think if someone wants to make a motion to amend the agenda, I do think that will be safer for all of us. And then that would need a 2/3.
This is McKay, so moved.
Okay.
Brian, would I be allowed to second? This is Dylan. I don't know if I'll be allowed to second since I'm sharing
you're
this
fine.
already, but
yes,
okay.
You're fine.
So Dylan will second that.
Okay. So we have. I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
Okay.
McKay.
Okay. Okay, and Dylan the second, and that's to modify the agenda to read, to hear and act upon adding the use of scooters to the skate park and revise the rules and regulations for the skate park. Correct?
Correct.
Kelly, did you get that?
Yes.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All right, then. So this is only to add, to modify the agenda. Chris?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
McKay?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yep.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. All right, and now, Dylan, if you want to just proceed and just summarize what we want to approve, and then if there's any questions and or if anyone wants to make a motion to consider scootering and the revised rules and regulations.
So we are voting to change the rules and regulations at the skate park so that scooters are now allowed, and that we're going to be going with an open program where there's no attendant. And with those changes will mean that we'll have to have a change in the signage that is on site at the skate park.
Okay. Any further questions for the subcommittee? Okay, would someone like to make a motion including all the wording that we need?
I can make a motion. This is Bridget.
Ms. Bridget? Okay.
Yep. All right, let me know how this sounds. I will make a motion to approve non-motorized scooters at the skate park starting April 1, 2021, in addition to the elimination of a skate park attendant. The rules and regulations will also change to reflect these changes. Too many changes. The rules and regulations will also reflect these changes. How's that?
The changes to include the language of scootering.
Okay. The rules and regulations will also include the language around scootering and non-attendance.
Yeah. Kelly, can you read that back?
Okay, so it's to approve the motion to eliminate, to add scootering to the skate park and elimination of the no attendant by April 1st, and the rules and regulations will also reflect these changes. And to include the language of the scootering.
Yes, perfect.
And non-attendant.
And non-attendant.
I think you already said that. Okay. So we have a motion. Does anyone want to second that?
Yeah, I'll second that. It's Dave.
Thank you. Okay. Any further questions or comments? Very good. Okay, Chris? Chris McCoy, you still with us? All right, we'll come back. Bridget?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
McKay?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
I'm a yes. And Chris, have you rejoined us?
Yes. Yeah, sorry you couldn't hear me before. Yes.
So you're a yes on this. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, nice work, guys. All right, next up, the Board of Education report. Bonnie?
Yeah, so I'm happy to report that everybody's back in school full-time. And we are still in the middle of the budget process, as with the town. So there's not much else, I don't think, to report on other than that. Which is a pretty big accomplishment. So I hear everything's going fairly well so far. That's it.
All right. Any questions for Bonnie? All right.
Yeah, Bonnie, this is Chris McCoy, actually. Bonnie, I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
As the parent of a 7th grader, are they going to be doing any sort of spring sports for the middle schools? Because I know we lost, all the winter and all the fall ones.
I believe sports are on. I don't know when they start, though.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anything otherwise.
But the Super or the Board of Ed have approved that?
well, we don't. I mean, the board doesn't approve spring sports, but I also work for the health department, so I know that all sports are currently playing, really.
Not in the middle
school.
school.
I guess school sports.
I'm talking the middle school teams. Well, track and field and what have you. Are those
I had asked. I'm not. You know what? I'm not 100% sure. Let me try to get a definitive answer, but I don't believe that anything's been canceled.
And the reason why I asked that is specifically because a lot of those sports are very inclusive to kids that aren't in that track for those year-round AAU programs. This is for kids that want to be athletic but aren't necessarily at that track. So I think it's very important to get that back. I've received a lot of questions from parents. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it. I know that some clubs are starting to open up. I would imagine sports, especially as the weather gets warmer, would be starting, but I'll have to get clarification on that for you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Bonnie. And Anthony, Director and Program Reports.
Okay, everybody should have received an advanced copy. Spring programs are knocking it out of the park right now. Registration numbers are really good. Summer camp, we did that registration, and our summer camps are filling really well as well. So everything's looking good for that. The governor made some announcements last week lessening some of the restrictions he had put on us, so very happy about that. And then, as Bonnie had just mentioned, budget season is heating up. We're at the Board of Finance stage, so kind of midway through the budget process right now. Some slight changes were made at the Board of Selectmen, primarily to some of our golf revenue numbers. But yeah, other than that, the big things that really to talk about are our capital projects, our non-recurring capital projects. We started the budget season with 5 projects, and we are down to 2 projects for approval by the RTM at the end of the month. The 3 projects that were cut out were the lights to the Doogie Yellow softball field that you guys had approved back in August, our upgrades to the Jackie Durrell kitchen and bathrooms, and our Parks and Rec master plan. The Parks and Rec master plan has been put into our operating budget, and it has made it through the Board of Selectmen. I anticipate that it will make it through the next 2 boards as well, as the Board of Finance is the one who decided that it wasn't going as a capital project and that they wanted it in the operating budget. So they should support it. Doogie Yellow Lights, they want us to go back to the drawing board with the Little League and get the league to be more involved with some neighborhood outreach and some additional funding that they want to see up front. So I'm currently talking with the board for the Girls Little League, and we will get that one moving. And we'll bring back the Jackie Durrell kitchen and bathroom upgrades next budget season. And then the 2 projects that are moving forward right now to the RTM is the replacement of the Pine Creek Playground and, oh goodness, what's the other one? The replacement of the splash pad at Lake Mohegan. Sorry, blanked out on that one. But yeah, other than that, I'm happy to take any questions.
So we renovated Jackie Durrell, but not the bathrooms and kitchen?
Correct. We had to do it in pieces because of FEMA guidelines.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions for the director?
Not related to, this is Bridget, not related to anything you just said, but wow, bonfires went so fast this morning.
Bonfire sold out 100%.
It was crazy. I gotta
You could always put You could always put a chair down there and pretend like you know the people.
Right? Yeah. To show up.
And this is, what do we have, 3 sites now for bonfires or 4?
We have 3 sites, 2 at Jennings Beach and 1 at Lake Mohegan.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy. All right. And last but not least, does anyone have anything for the good of the order?
Just back on the Board of Ed report, this is McKay. At Lisa Tomlinson track starts March 23rd, so I'm assuming spring sports will be fine.
Great. Thank you.
And this is Bridget. I just wanted to mention that without Jessica, our Tree of Hope subcommittee is down to just Chris and myself. But Jamie had mentioned that he was interested in being our 3rd member if that's okay. I didn't know if we have to vote on it or.
That's the Tree of Life Committee?
The Tree of Hope, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, it's you, and so say again, Jamie would be replacing Jessica?
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I think that's a great idea, and unless anyone else has an objection or would like also to be considered. Jamie, welcome to the subcommittee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When do I get my training?
Bridget, he's all yours.
Oh, and Mr. Chair, this is Chris. By the way, I don't think we've actually officially recognized or nominated Bridget as the. I want her to be the chair of this subcommittee. She's pretty much taken the reins over, but I don't think she's gotten official recognition. So I'd like to put that forth.
Okay.
Is that fair? Is that fair, Bridget?
Sure, I'll accept. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Thank you.
The commission does not need to opine on that. That's up to you as the members of the subcommittee. So congratulations, Bridget.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Very good.
Are we ever going to go to Microsoft Teams or some other platform? Does anyone know? Hello?
Anthony?
I didn't hear the question.
No, I mean, I'm used to Teams right now. And, this is kind of clunky, and I was just wondering if the town has any plans to buy a license.
Not to my knowledge. That I don't think they have any plans to change the way they're doing meetings right now.
Anthony, do you know, are other commissions having the same issues that we're having with WebEx?
No, absolutely not. This is the only commission that I've been on where we've had these issues. We may have to change the way we're hosting it because we're definitely doing something wrong.
Okay. Yeah, can we look into that before the April meeting? It would be lovely if we can actually see each other, hopefully someday in person, but at least by WebEx and without that echo. That'd be wonderful.
First thing on my agenda tomorrow morning, trust me.
What's precluding us from having the meeting socially distant at Jackie Durrell?
The First Select Woman's not allowing any in-person meetings at this time.
Okay.
I know this for a fact because I just asked last week when the Golf Commission requested to meet in person and was told no.
Fair enough.
And Anthony, is that a concern that these are open to the public and we can't control the number?
I believe that that's the concern, but I'm not 100% sure. The Golf Commission wanted to go with a hybrid type meeting, kind of like the Board of Ed was doing. I don't know if they're still doing it, where they were meeting, the board would meet in person and then the public would call in. but they were told no meetings are going to be in person at this time. So.
Okay. Well, then we're going to get back to ending the meetings with a motion to adjourn. So if someone would like to make a motion.
So moved.
That was?
Dave.
Dave. Okay, we have a second?
It's Bonnie. I'll second.
All right. Have a wonderful, what remains of St. Patrick's Day, and we will speak with you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Brian.
Thank you. Good night.